Let's bring in Adam Kinzinger, Congressman from Illinois, Republican, Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Air Force Reserves. Thank you so much, Congressman, for being here. What's your reaction to this?
That's awful. I mean, you know, anybody being attacked is terrible. When you focus on somebody because of their faith at a place of worship, it's especially disheartening. I was in New Zealand, I think about a year ago now, and it's just not a place you'd expect to see anything like this. So thoughts and prayers, and we mean it. Thoughts and prayers are impactful. Please pray for the people that are going through this.
AOC says, don't say thoughts and prayers.
You know what? When she says that, when I saw that, it just doubled down my determination to tell people to do it. Prayer means something, and faith means something. And I think even though we may all have different faiths, let's all stand together at this moment.
What do you make of the fact that this guy was able to live stream on Facebook for 17 minutes? You know, so many up on Capitol Hill, you're constantly talking about these social media giants and what they're putting out there. The fact that he would be able to do that, he wanted notoriety, and he showed the carnage.
Yeah,
it's shocking.
It gives me chills because it's one of the areas our committee's trying to deal with is what's the balance between your freedoms, your ability to do what you want on social media, versus people that try to seek fame or notoriety through something like this. I mean, we remember an elderly man that was killed on live stream because somebody wanted to do it, and I don't know how to get a hold of this, but we've got to get to a society where people quit trying to chase this fame, this hollow fame, whether it's through horrible actions or anything else. Just, you know, be confident in who you are. Go ahead with your life, and this is just incredibly
Well, that's why
evil.
we don't want to use his name, because we don't want to give him any recognition. I have a friend that lives over there, and we were texting last night, and she said that in their school system, in their schools, you just walk right into school. We've seen those changes here on our campuses because of terrorist attacks that we've had here in the United States. Is this going to change the way they do things in New Zealand?
It could. We don't wish it on anybody, but, you know, that's the point when you have evil folks, whether they're, you know, white supremacists or whether they're Islamic terrorists that see an opportunity to kill innocent people, comes into their mind, they do it.
Ambassador Scott Brown is going to be joining us in about 40 minutes from New Zealand, and former senator from Massachusetts. Here's what Sarah Sanders has just put out, a statement from the White House. The United States strongly condemns the attack on the Christ Church. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims and families, and we stand in solidarity with the people of New Zealand and their government against the vicious act of hate. Meanwhile, the president was occupied yesterday with what was really a rebuke of his effort to use emergency funds, repurpose funds, in order to do massive border security. 41 senators voted with him, 59 didn't. If you were in the Senate, how would you have voted?
Well, I'd have voted with the 41. I think the president has a right to a national emergency. I think it was the right thing to do. That's how I voted in the House. I saw it. You know, I was on the border with the military for 2 weeks, and because the cartel makes money on two products: people and drugs. Human trafficking, drug trafficking, and that's what's coming over the border. I saw it on almost every mission, evidence of human and drug trafficking. That's got to stop. They are a prime enemy of the United States. The assaults they're committing on women, the violence in the communities, it's evil. And I think the president is right to secure the border. I understand the wrestling that every senator had to go through, but I think the president...
It's the Constitution. I don't think one Republican doesn't believe it's a crisis.
Right, and so I get it, I understand it, but I think the president is well within his rights on this, and he didn't create new money out of thin air. He just repurposed money from, for instance, counter-drug to a counter-drug operation.
What do your Democratic friends say when, I know what they say on camera, they don't support the president, they don't think this is a crisis, it's manufactured. Do they really believe that when they see all the video and they hear all the stories?
It's amazing to me when I came back and started kind of sharing my experience. I said, I'm not here to convince anybody, I just want to tell you what I saw. People would actually question whether I saw what I saw. So at that point, I'm like, obviously, you can't win. I mean, I'll be honest to who I am and tell you what I saw, but...
But, Congressman, you know that before Donald Trump, nobody ever had the argument, a wall doesn't work.
Right.
Now, of course, it's big, it's inefficient, it doesn't work.
They all voted for it 12 years ago. But this isn't your dad's Democratic Party anymore. This is a whole new different Democratic Party. This is the one where half of them, you know, sit on their hands when the president says we won't be socialist. That could never be imagined even 3 years ago in the Democratic Party.
Why is that?
It's a rush to the left. It is. It's sad.
One thing Democrats and Republicans agree on, that 5G, we have to be the ones to pioneer 5G, because if the Chinese and this Huawei are able to do it, especially with our allies, they'll have a backdoor to all the intelligence. We have to question whether we're going to actually give our intelligence to our allies in that way. I asked the Secretary of State that about 5G, why we should care, and why our allies aren't listening to us. You told the Poles, you told the Germans, do not do a deal with Huawei. It's about 5G, it's about security. It looks like they're going through it anyway. What would happen if both of our allies decide to go with a Chinese company to lead the way on 5G?
Huawei and Chinese telecommunications equipment in one's network, in a nation's network, presents a real risk that the Chinese government will have access to data that no American wants them to have. We have urged these countries to reconsider those policies. We view this technology as being threatening to their security, and we've told them, if you put this technology in your equipment, it will make it incredibly difficult for the United States to work alongside you in some of these places.
What don't they get?
I don't know. And the secretary is obviously really smart on this stuff. You cannot share information with allies when you have a basically Trojan horse infrastructure by your chief enemy. And that's the situation we're looking at. They're giving it to you cheap for a reason. I mean, there's a reason Huawei's the cheapest stuff out there, because they get something for it.
Right. Too bad a U.S. company just couldn't be leading the way, but they're ahead of us right now.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
Congressman, thank you very much for stopping
Thanks
by.
for being here.
Thanks, guys.
And thanks for your service.
You bet.
And I'll talk to you on radio.
All right, yeah.
Hey,